Got some other big news that is breaking. I want to update all of you on this. Janet Yellen speaking about the economy, these comments just coming out moments ago, and she reiterated that rate hikes are expected sometime this year. Our very own Blake Berman has got details on what the Fed chairwoman had to say. Blake.
She did indeed, Cheryl. Good afternoon to you. It appears Janet Yellen's remarks in Rhode Island were pretty much right in line with what the markets expected. She told the Chamber of Commerce there if the economy continues to improve as she expects, the Fed should be on track for a rate increase later this year. The minutes from April's FOMC meeting released on Wednesday cast doubt of an increase happening during June's meeting, and Yellen this afternoon did not really give a hint as to exactly when an increase might play out later this year. However, she said after liftoff, the Fed will take a cautious approach.
If conditions develop as my colleagues and I expect, then the FOMC's objectives of maximum employment and price stability would best be achieved by proceeding cautiously, which I expect would mean that it will be several years before the federal funds rate would be back to its normal longer-run level.
Yellen also said she feels the three headwinds that have slowed the recovery since the crash, a slow housing recovery, budget cuts, and problems in the global economy are waning, leaving the U.S. economy well positioned for growth. She also said she feels the job market is, quote, approaching its full strength, but she said she doesn't feel it's exactly there yet. She cites, Cheryl, how many still can't find full-time jobs and the disappointing pace of wage growth.
Wage growth,
Cheryl?
yeah. Those comments I thought from her were pretty spot on, and that's part of their mandate anyway. Blake, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Blake Berman out of D.C. Well, a bidding war for homes. About half of previously owned homes are now selling at or above their asking price. That is according to brand new data from the National Association of Realtors. I want to bring in Jack Howe from Barron's. He joins me here in New York. Angie Moran from Northbridge Growth Equity. Jillian is back as well. Jim Moran, I'm sorry. So, Jim, I do want to start with you and welcome to the show. Jim, you know, bidding wars in cities where it was kind of shocking to see the fact that, you know, there's such low inventory. Seattle, even Phoenix. I mean, places that were so hard hit. We're spot on.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll speak to one that I am more familiar with, Miami. I have an apartment in Miami, and there are definitely bidding wars going on there, and it's unbelievable the price appreciation that's occurred there. I also live full-time in Boston, and you see it happening there as well. Inventory is just scarce, and that's driving prices. Yeah,
I mean, you know, Jack, I was looking at the amount, 40%. And this, I think, would explain in a way the decline in existing home sales because of these bidding wars. Because prices have been rising and rising, many Americans are getting priced out of these homes. Or, if they're cheap enough, there's a bidding war going on.
Well, there's some constrained supply. I think some manufacturers aren't fooled. They've been through this before and pretty recently, and they don't want to get burned again. In terms of the price increases, the bidding wars, we're getting the housing environment that we create in America. You know, the Fed's talking about maybe moving off of zero interest rates. When you have interest rates punitive for so long and it hurts people to save money, they look around for something big to buy.
Yeah, but again, sales actually fell last month, Jillian, which I think is kind of an interesting juxtapose to the fact. And we've also seen, at this point, rents are skyrocketing across the country.
Yeah.
And so many, especially the millennials, they can't even afford rent
we get
in these large cities. It's crazy.
We end up living with our parents because of it at higher rates. But I think what this really goes to show is that the housing recovery is continuing to be pretty volatile. It's not stable, and it's not evening out in a way that indicates healthy economic activity.
I would agree with that as well. I mean, there are spots in the country, you could go to Canton, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio, or other cities where you haven't seen this spectacular jobs are.
Just can't get a job. That's exactly.
Well, it depends where you are.
Right. Get a job is a different story.
Yeah,
you can't in Akron right now.
There you go, exactly. Well, no sunny side here. The devastating bird flu outbreak is causing egg prices to soar, jumping about 85% to $2.20 a dozen in the Midwest. That's according to market research firm Urner Barry. And I was looking at this, and we've got, Jack, such a concentration of egg production, where you've got 6 million hen-laying eggs, and the bird flu is wiping out there you go. 6 million hens are gone right
That's
now.
just it. What do we want when we buy chicken and we buy eggs? We want low prices. And the industry has accommodated us, and the way you do that is you build these hyper-scale farms. What happens when you have so many chickens so close together is the same thing that happens when you have so many people so close together, is you run the risk of occasional outbreaks in infectious diseases like this. So this is something we're going to have to put up with until we change the landscape.
It's really nice. It seems because, honestly, I mean, they're calling this the worst outbreak ever within the bird industry, whether it's the turkeys or it's the chicken laying, the egg laying chickens. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, I think they're already concerned about what's going to happen come this Thanksgiving. But what I think is interesting about this is how the market has responded to it pretty well. And I think, also chicken growers have been pretty responsible about trying to euthanize chickens that they think are at risk. And this is something where the USDA maybe hasn't been the most responsive, but I think people handling it on their own is overall a good thing, because federal agencies haven't done a good job of addressing public health crises.
Well, now we're handing out $400 million.
Now we're doing chicken,
Now we're handing out $400 million to start cleaning up, and the cleanup is disgusting. I suppose. Guys, thank you.